What's up, Daily Fab Gamers? Thank you so much for watching my stream. Before you jump into this red-hot action, let's review the rules. Don't be a dick. This should go without saying, but better safe than sorry. Chat with me. You know that I can talk at my computer for hours, but it's more fun when my computer talks back. And let's have a good time. I don't mind getting sweaty, but we can have fun while we do it. Use the chat command deck for a link to the list I'm playing here. It's also in the video description. Some of these decks are sick, and you might want to play them in real life. In that case, let me refer you to Hemel from the Bazaar. It's never been more affordable to play in the flesh and blood. Players have been buying the cards they need from Hemel for years. I started buying from him in 2023 and have never found a better deal. The Bazaar's prices are the lowest for singles, full sets, and class sets, including new releases. Super Slam singles and more are available now and ship both domestically and internationally. See what he can do for you. Now settle in and get cozy because the stream begins now. Good morning, everyone. Oh, I guess I didn't need the green screen for what I'm going to do today. Hello, I'm back from San Diego, a whale's vagina, to talk to you about Flesh and Blood and my calling and Terra. We get the Terra list. I am going to not give it to you. I'm going to give you Aurora's video that she posted yesterday on Flesh and Bed, which I should have done anyway. That will be in the deck description. So let me get this link and then I will put it in chat for you. So this is Aurora's deck tech. The list I played was her list. I think I made like a change and I ended up using a different version of her list. So I guess it was like, she had a list. It was better into Ninja and worse into Dory. And then she decided to sack the Ninja matchup and make the Dory matchup better. And I took the wrong list. I took the old one that was better into Ninja and worse into DGA, which was good because I played a Fi on stream and I got to win that game. And it was worse because then I paired into 2 DGAs and lost the game. So what I'm going to do today is very briefly just walk you through like the start of San Diego, and then I'm going to get Ian Holland, Fiendal Spirit from Blue Sky, good streamer, great player, into a Discord call, and we're just going to doom about how we're washed and how we used to be so much better at this game than we are now. And maybe it'll be a productive conversation. Maybe it won't be. Maybe we'll just both vent and then be sad that we used to be good when Lightning Runeblade was part of the format, and now we're bad because it isn't. So yeah, you know, this is going to be a talking one. So if you like talking streams, then you're going to love this. And if you like gameplay streams, then you're not going to like this. But I will be back tomorrow with Fi gameplay. So what inspired my Terra pick? I was really struggling to find a deck that I resonated with in Silver Age. I don't like aggro in this format. I started playing Briar. I thought Briar's really cool. Lightning Runeblade, I love those. She's better at Aurora, so I'm not going to mess with Aurora. I'm going to focus on Briar. And you would draw these hands of like Burn Up Shock, Rabble, Entwine, Lightning Surge. And you're like, holy shit, this is a 5-card 25. This is great. This is going to win a game. And then some games you would do that and your opponent would block out and you put them to like 4 and you have this huge tempo lead, and then you draw like Skizzik, Jack be nimble, snatch. And you look at this hand of cards and you think, huh, this doesn't do anything. And so you attack for 4 or whatever, an arsenal card, and your opponent looks at their hand and says, cool, I'm gonna block 1, go to 1, here's my 25 damage hand, and then you die. So aggro felt very swingy, and the decks that I saw posted during our testing for Sage to try to counteract that, mainly KO, one of my testing partners had a KO brew that he took to 10th place at the calling. It was very good, but it just didn't resonate with me the way that I needed to play the game. Did not feel like a deck I wanted to play. I'm trying to be more respectful towards playing decks that I want to play. Even if they aren't exactly optimal, they aren't the best deck in the format, there's something I enjoy. I'm trying to be more mindful of that. So I landed on Terra. Aurora had been very successful with this Terra list. I watched her play it. It looked very cool. There was a lot of outplay potential, which is something I've been missing from playing aggro in CC. I think Syndra didn't have it. KO has it more now, but I wanted to get away from aggro. 1, to expand myself as a player, and 2, I just didn't think it was great in Sage. So I landed on this Terra deck, and it's a ton of fun. It like shits on Briar. I mean, seriously, I have not lost to a Briar since picking up Terra, I think, ever. Actually, yeah, I think I am 100% into Briar, and I'm told that Briar is a losable game, that you can draw a clunker when she draws the nuts and she can get the burn up through, or somehow she sets up the evergreen loop and you're low enough on life that you can't just win through it anyway. But those are like the extreme edge cases. I feel like you're really 95% into Briar. So Terra has that going for him. And at least in testing, don't talk about my wife that way, Ian, I will dumpster your Briar anytime. Fandal Spirit in chat, everyone. He'll be in bringing him on Discord soon. Just want to get through the preamble. So the other hard matchup for Terra was Dory. I don't think I've actually played into a Great Axe deck that wasn't Dorinthia, which makes sense because she's the best one. But in testing, at least, it was doable. Aurora coached me on it. I was able to replicate the strategy that she used. Great Axe was not an easy game, but it was a winnable one. I'd say we were probably 35-40% in testing, which, considering that Terra is such a dark horse pick that no one knows what the fuck he does or how to play against him, this was a winnable, replicable strategy. So I felt really good about bringing Terra to the calling. He was good in testing. He was 0% into Enigma, but then I would play Briar into Enigma, and she was also 0%. So it really felt like, well, if all of my decks kind of lose to the same thing, but some of them are much better into the matchups I expect to see, I'm going to play that deck. This was Aurora's experience. She played 1 DGA, as far as I know, in the entire calling, and multiple Briars. I had a different experience. I played 1 Briar and multiple DGAs. Which was bad, and by the time I got to the Great Axe decks, they had refined their lists so that the strategies I had implemented in testing no longer worked. But the one good takeaway I had was I got to beat a Fi on stream. The stream game was great. Thank you, Caldwell. Very tight. The Fi had such a bad draw. When Fi put 6 in front of my Humble, and then the return was like, rake over the coals for 2 value into 2 chain link end turn, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna win this game. If I had a really bad draw, because Terra is not a good matchup. Fi is not a good matchup for Terra. That is a losing game. But this all brings me to what Ian and I are gonna talk about, which is I spend a week and a half really honing in this Terra deck. Like, I'm working with Aurora, I'm backseating her, she's backseating me. We're honing the strategies. I feel like, okay, into the decks that I'm expecting to see, which are Briar, I'm very good. Into Great Axe, which I'm expecting to see. It's a bad matchup, but I can gap them. Into KO, I feel comfortable. Enigma doesn't exist. New doesn't exist. Like, I feel like this is the pick. This is the tech. This is what's going to get me the wins. It all goes to shit, right? I throw the calling into 3/3 the calling. I play in the showdown. I pair into the only other Terra in the room who is more teched for me than I am for him. I then pair into Enigma, who I was really hoping just wouldn't exist. How did it go wrong with a deck that I felt good about? And then what are the lessons to take from that when trying to figure out for future events, well, shit, if I felt good about this deck and it didn't work, what's going to happen if I try to go something more meta and then I don't feel good about it? Like, should I just be slamming my head into the briar wall and like, well, if I draw hot for 14 rounds, then I'm going to win a calling? And so that's what I'm here to talk with Ian about, who I'm going to get on Discord now, because he has had a similar trajectory to me since the loss of his wife, Briar, that I have had since the loss of my wife, Aurora. And here he is right now. Hello, Ian Holland. Is that you?
Hello?
Hello. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, man. So we were talking about this in Discord the other day. Why do we both suck so much at Fab?
I don't know. Probably because I have more stuff than Fab going on in my life. Because I assume I have to just cut everything else out, right?
That doesn't sound accurate. I feel like you could do everything. That's what I'm told anyway.
Yeah, so I'm told. No, I think when you start having success in Flesh and Blood, at least this is how it went for me, then all of a sudden you get very fixated on that success when you're not used to it. And that puts a lot of pressure on yourself to be good at the game.
There was a show that I watched with Lauren Fiasco on HBO. It's called, wait, who is this? This is Ian Holland, Stephen. You've met Ian, probably. I don't know if that's true. I was watching a show on HBO. Stephen Asilio.
Asilio, Steve?
Yeah, that's his actual name.
Yeah, you met me in London.
Yeah, what an asshole. So I'm watching the show on HBO. It's called The Other Two, and I'll spare you the plot. It's a very good show. I highly recommend watching it, but I'll spare you the plot. There is a line in the show involving a main character who is a formerly struggling, now successful actor and his friend. And the actor is complaining about how he only has these many working roles and he isn't getting more than that. He's like stuck in his station, can't find his way into like a leading role or a major part in a movie. And his friend says something like, "You're forgetting that a year ago you were a waiter. You didn't have any roles. As you are moving up, you are taking your bar of success with you, so that if you are no longer climbing, it feels like failure." And that resonated with me because that's exactly your point, which is coming from like not being able to win a calling. Objectively, top 8ing a pro quest, winning a pro quest, having cash calling, but not doing it now, 5-2 in a showdown, which is a winning, a cashing record, but with bad breakers. These are all objectively good results, but they aren't wins. And then you look over at, I had told you look over at Aurora, who placed 14th in the calling with Terra, and Tommy, who built this KO deck, placed 10th in the calling. My buddy Brandon, who beat me in the showdown with Terra and then cashed it at 9th place and barely bubbled out of top 8. It's easy to then look at me and say, well, what the fuck am I doing wrong? What's going on with me? Do I just suck at this game?
No, absolutely. Like, I have a few peers here in Dublin. Like, my friend Connor made the finals of a calling versus Pablo Pintor. My friend Dylan is with Team PCG. And, last year, the best result I posted was top 4 in a Road to Nationals event.
Which is still a good thing. Like, top 4ing an RTN is still good.
Yeah, but every other year I've won an RTN, you know?
Yeah.
But last year I chose to take a very big mental reset on Fab and kind of played it a lot less after London.
Hmm.
Like even at Worlds, I was over at Worlds, we met up and I didn't play the calling, I played side events all weekend.
Yeah.
Because it's important to remember as well, like this is a game that we enjoy playing and we enjoy traveling for. One of the things that really stuck with me was something that Yuki Lee Bender said, which is you need to focus on results in testing and like your gameplay performance. Not all about wins, but don't make mistakes. Play as best as you can. If you do that, you need to just shift the bar for success for yourself, and eventually it will kind of come.
Yeah, it's so hard to do that. I really respect you for doing that hard mental reset on Fab and like stepping back. There's that a weird tension between trying to take more time for yourself and if you're like you have a life. Obviously, we all have lives. Even the most successful players in the community have other stuff going on. It's hard to rectify taking a step back and focusing more on the rest of your life but that means you have less time to practice. So if you were concerned that you had, were putting in this much time and couldn't top 8 at calling, and now you're putting even less time into Fab, well, how are you going to top 8 the calling now if you weren't doing it before?
Yeah, it's funny because the year I tried and worked my hardest to do well, I bombed Nationals, which I wasn't used to. Because the year prior, I'd made the finals of Nationals. The year after, which was the year we started talking, I made top 4 in Nationals. I think it depends on how you mentally approach everything. Because if we were talking about this and you're looking back at your old results and going like, what's happening? One of the things to remember is it's a game with a lot of variance. Less than other card games, but there's still variance. And I think I remember, I can't source this, so no one ask me where it's from, but I remember reading, if you are successful and you're doing well, have you ever watched someone who's a very good player tilt off the face of the earth at their opponent when they lose? That is like a sense of entitlement, that you feel entitled to the win, and you can only be mad at yourself when you lose a game. You can't get mad at someone else. And I always try and remember that as well, of being like, did I make a mistake? Can I examine this game and see where I went wrong? And sometimes it didn't. It just happened. Like this recent RTN season, I made a top 8, I won an RTN, and then I went 0-3. The full gamut of situations. And that was with a deck I didn't really practice on, but I picked KO because it's a deck I enjoy playing. And I kind of just went for the fun and to try and qualify. And, trying to remember that it's a game I enjoy and that I'm traveling to spend time with my friends has been a big part of it. And especially, a lot of apologies have been issued out for me being an absolute jackass when I was very competitive.
That's something, yeah. So, I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, traveling to events, aside from what for me was a pretty disappointing outcome in San Diego Calling and Showdown, like the rest of the time there was fucking sick. Like testing in the hostel was great. Spending time with Aurora and Tegan and Rob's partner Molly and Brandon. I saw Aggro Blaze there. All the other NorCal players that I got to like jam games with and then go drink beers with after the event was sick. Like it was a ton of fun. Which, to your point, like, there is so much more going on outside of the actual games of Fab that make these events worth going to, that it's always worth it. But there is still, for me at least, that bitter feeling of like, oh, but what if I had also cashed the calling? Or what if I had also top 8'd with this deck? People in chat are bringing up something that you and I talked about too, and I mentioned before, of like the loss of our wives, Briar and Aurora, that there's also so much fun that comes from playing a deck that you enjoy. I was listening to Scowling's Pound of Flesh podcast yesterday. Ellie Bird was the guest, and for 16 minutes, she talked about the importance of playing a deck that resonates with you, even if it isn't the best deck in the format. And how you do have a lot of pro players will, you have some that say, what is the current best deck? Well, that's what I play, even if I hate it. But a lot of pro players will say, what is the best deck within these decks I enjoy? And that's how you got Majin, who was winning events with Kano when Kano wasn't the best deck. Or he won a Battlehard with Verdance when Verdance just sucked. Because it was a deck he enjoyed, and when you're playing a deck you enjoy, you are more likely to put more time into it because you enjoy the testing, but you're also likely to look harder for answers when you have your really bad matchups, right? If I love Fi, and Fi has a terrible Victor matchup, and Victor becomes huge in the format, I mean, I personally am not likely to stick with Fi because there is historical evidence that I didn't do that, but other people will say, okay, I'm just going to, instead of jumping ship because the KO matchup sucks, I'm going to figure out how does Fi beat KO? What does that 20% look like? And I'm going to do that.
Yeah, and like, that was my approach in London. With very little testing, I just brought Briar because Briar is my favorite deck ever. And I made day 2. My losses were actually on day 1, 3 KOs. So it turned out I had not prepped for a deck and I got punished for it. But I felt comfortable with my fatigue matchup and Kano and a few others. So, we ran it. And the night before, I had literally thought about not playing the calling because I went 2-2 in all my side events. But I was like, yeah. Played one practice game, made a couple of changes, and punched my ticket, made day 2. Wheels came off in day 2. Let's not talk about the day 2. But, yeah, I agree. It's about finding something you enjoy playing and reasons why you love playing it. Whatever they are. Like, maybe make Aurora work in Sage. Probably coming up because Briar's going to go away soon. Because if no one else, you will lead the campaign against my wife.
No, I know I've said that I will just lead the charge on whatever deck is your favorite deck. No, I will be my community ban, my influence as a creator will go towards Kano.
I'm shocked that you hate Kano so much.
It isn't so much that I hate Kano. I think I took the trajectory that most players did, where I start playing the game, I'm just baffled by Kano. I'm like, they start comboing off, and I'm like, whatever, tell me in 5 minutes whether I'm dead. And then by the time he LL'd, my opinion on Kano was actually like, this is cool. I'm enjoying what's happening here. I don't enjoy just getting 50'd out of nowhere, but I do enjoy that I can tech for it and you can brick, or I can have the blue that you didn't expect me to have. Like, whenever I lost to a Kano, I always felt like the Kano won. Like, they did the thing, as opposed to Sabres Bolton, where anytime I lose to a Sabres combo, I feel like they didn't win, I lost. Kano and Sage, I think, has a few problems that can't be fixed with a ban or two. It's a 20 life format, which makes Kano that much more potent. And the addition of the 3-block glove, if he's Hellbent, is like so ridiculous. Kano being an 18 health hero, even 19 health if you're running any Blade Beckoner equipment, is like so completely insane that I think he has problems that can't be fixed with just a ban. This is compared to like Decimator Great Axe, where I think you can actually ban the cards around it, like Felling, Swing, and Steelblade Shunt, that would make the deck more reasonable.
I have a funny feeling that if you're banning anything from that deck, it just has to be the Axe, because it's the only thing that will force the warriors to diversify. Because every warrior in the format is currently a DGA deck.
Yes.
But to go back to the things we were kind of talking about earlier about improvement.
Yeah.
One of the things I'll talk about a lot, I talked about pretty openly, is like, had a rough couple of years. Fab was the only thing I was doing okay at, so that was like my locked in on Fab, which is really bad when you're spiraling mentally. To just hyper focus on the one thing that results matter. Yeah. That's really healthy. I've been told this, but like I was in therapy last year. I talked about a lot of things, but one of the things was competing in Flesh and Blood and how it affected me when I did poorly. Like there's good chance if I bombed, I would crash out. Yeah. Now, the Irish community are so great that you'd be out on a night out afterwards and it wouldn't matter. But there's still like that element of crashing out at doing poorly at an event when I've prepped for it. And when it's like the only positive thing going on. So like, it is similar to like sports psychology. It's how you frame improvement. It's like focusing on not making mistakes, not doing things incorrectly. Or also like the wins will eventually come. Like we've all gone through patches where the game does not go our way. I have, as what I would say, a fairly middling player, performed better at bigger tournaments than named players. It just happens. The difference is how they handle losses and how they examine what happens afterwards than like most players, You
mentioned Yuki Lee Bender earlier. She wrote an article that, I mean, we might even be referencing the same thing, that, it's a big focus. You need to shift focus from your goal for an event being, I'm going to top 8 this calling, to I am not going to make any mistakes in this calling. And you can make your goal whatever you want. Like, I'm not going to forget my tunic trigger. I am going to mentally identify my game plan before every match instead of just sending it and trying to remember what's happening. Like, why is this going wrong halfway through the game? That shift your focus away from an outcome-based goal and shift it more towards, I don't know if performance-based goal is the right way to put that, just something that is in your control. Like, you can't control that you found your 0% matchup and you're winning it, but you can control whether you forgot your tunic trigger at any point. There is that. I think where I'm questioning how to improve for the next event is in those games, like, remembering the tunic trigger is easy. Also, it's in Sage, so there is no tunic. But like, I can look at my Terra DGA matchup and say, this is not a good matchup, it is a long matchup, and there's room for skill expression. So I can play out the game and say, I didn't make any mistakes, I did it right. They had the felling when I didn't have the D-react, or they had the overpower and they played it in first cycle, and I was expecting it to come in second cycle, so I didn't block around it. Like, that's all well and good. But shoring that up in practice, like, because a lot of the time in the moment, you don't realize you made the mistake. Sometimes it's easy. You forgot that they had the onboard attack reaction, or you miscounted their overpowers in graveyard and thought they didn't have any, but you were one off. But it's more of the like gameplay based, the macro strategy that you thought you executed and you probably didn't, but you didn't catch it. So I guess for me, it's like, well, do I just do more of the same? Like, practice went well, I thought it was effective, my outcome didn't reflect that, so do I just keep plugging away? Or is there something on a higher level that I can change?
I think one thing for all of us as card gamers is we want as much control over things as possible, and we kind of want our matchup spread to be pretty good. Sure, you know yourself, and you accepted, for example, that Enigma was 0%er.
Yeah.
I'd say DGA is close to a 0%er as well if you bring Terra.
Yeah.
So there's a thing about this, because like I come from Magic. I was only starting to get competitive in Magic when they killed the pro scene, so that stopped immediately. But I remember learning sometimes it's not about your sideboard cards, because like, is it worth bringing a 0%er up to 20%, or is it worth making your 50% like 75%, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And same way in some matchups, is it a 50%er with the cards you have, or is it all about how you play it? Like, I didn't prepare for DGA in London, but I sat down against Anton Sid from Team Sigil, and he flipped over Dory, 4 pieces of Unity equipment, and a DGA. I'm like, okay, how do I win this game?
Uh-huh.
And it was as simple as pushing damage in the right places, getting a burn-up shock into my arsenal, and waiting until I had attacks and a lightning press.
Yeah.
And that was the only thing that mattered that whole game, was having one big burn-up turn. So that was my out. That's what I played to. And like, you can kind of, if you know your deck well enough, you can figure out those game plans on the fly. But as well, you have to remember, even though it feels like it, and it does feel like it, matters so much, sometimes the wins and losses don't matter too much at the end of the day, because it's so easy to get your self-worth as a player and everything wrapped up in them. And that's what Yuki's talking about, and that's kind of where I'm trying to focus these days. Because like I said, top 8 in RTN, win an RTN, 0-3, drop, go get lunch.
Yeah.
I could have been upset at going 0-3, but you know, I'd also won one and top 8'd one. So shut the fuck up. Get over yourself.
I think where I'm... Yeah. No, I get that. I mean, the nice thing about bombing a Sage Calling is even when it ends early, like even when you end, you're still done at like 2. I mean, we finished the calling and just went to get drinks. It was great. It was happy hour instead of like 8 p.m. No, I think where I'm struggling and where I'm like trying to refocus is what playing Terra taught me is that I really liked playing Terra. Like, losing the DGA matchups was tough. Losing to Tao Tao was like, sure. Of course, man. Of course, that you're just going to lose to New. Like, pairing into Enigma the next day, like, you get your 0%, that's hard. But I still enjoyed playing the deck a lot more than I think I would have if I had brought Briar. Like, the Terra hands that don't quite work out are still so fun to navigate, compared to I will crash out every time I draw a Runeblade hand on Briar. So I think I set this expectation of like, the deck hums and it's going to do the thing, and then every time it doesn't, I'm like, this is the worst the worst experience I've ever had playing Fab. And then Terra, I sit down and I'm like, this is a puzzle. We're going to solve the puzzle. So I think to your point of like finding the good, not focusing on the bad, that regardless of the outcome, I was at least right in what I thought going into Sage, which is I don't want to play an aggro deck because I'm going to crash out every time I brick. I want to play something defensive because it's going to give me the opportunity to outplay my bad draws. And while I didn't outplay my bad matchups necessarily, I did outplay my bad draws. And that felt like success.
And it should feel like success, because I got 2 Runeblade hands in that weekend. One in the calling, one in a side event, and it sucks, but you gotta just make the most of it. Now, thankfully, one of them was all non-attacks, and it was literally just spread strength, sizzle, starfall for 8.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but it's nothing to write home about. Because that could easily be a snatch for 10 go again instead.
Yeah.
But, like, anyone who knows me, which is a lot of people, asked me, was I playing Briar that weekend? Everyone local to me is already sick of me bringing Briar to Silver Age Armory. Because they had 2 years of me playing Briar. And in the same way you knew Aurora, that's how I know this deck. So I'm always going to be comfortable bringing it. But I was talking with a friend of mine earlier today about coming on and chatting about this, and it reminded me of a story that I think Patrick Sullivan told on the Receivables years ago.
Okay.
Sitting at an LCQ for the Pro Tour. So literally day before the Pro Tour, you go through a 10-round meat grinder and the winner gets a Pro Tour invite the next day. And they're in the win and in bracket, and this guy sits down across from a guy. Guy says hi to the guy next to him. Turns out it's his friend. He just turns to him and goes, "You know this guy?" He goes, "Yeah." "Is he a good guy?" "Yeah." And he goes, "I concede. Enjoy top 8.
Wow.
And when they asked him, his response is like something that's always stuck with me, which is sometimes you have to remind the cards who shuffles who.
I like that.
And it's that. Yeah, but that's the mentality you need to approach games with, because like I'm not a Michael Fung, I'm not a Brody Spurlock, but I'm pretty good and I have capacity to get better. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's a game. We have to have a good time. Like, you can't get upset about it. You can't stress about it. Well, you can very easily. I am living proof of that. But doing it is like actually detrimental to your practice more than it is helpful.
Yeah, it does. I appreciate you having this talk with me, because you are confirming what I have been telling myself and what I do feel, which is I'm glad I played Terra because I had fun. I remember I got home from San Diego, was starting to prep for ProQuest this weekend, and wanted to play this KO deck that my buddy Tommy got 10th place with. He's like, this deck is great, it's good rate, it does all the thing. And I start playing this deck, and I'm starting to have the Briar problem, which is like, pitch blue, play wild ride, draw a red, discard a red. The rest of your turn is play another shitty blue, and you feel bad about yourself. I'm like, I am crashing out over this. This is not fun. And I post something in chat. I'm like, wow, playing KO makes me not want to play KO. And All In Together responds and says, is there any deck you do enjoy playing? And he's being facetious, but he's also calling me out as, like, stop bitching. And stop complaining. And it did feel like, what deck I do enjoy playing was Terra. And so you have confirmed, like, Sage, CC, going back to what Ellie Bird had talked about, what you've talked about, what I think a lot of us already know, but maybe trick ourselves into not believing, is play the best deck for the format that you enjoy, and you will, if not do better, at least have more fun than if you played the best deck in the format that you hate. I mean, for me, that was Syndra. Like, I played Syndra way too much in Super Slam season. She was the best deck in the format. She was extremely good. I won a lot of games, and I generally hated all of them. As opposed to KO, who I played after the bans and enjoyed a lot more, or compared to Fi, who I played back in the Lexi meta when he was not a good deck. I enjoyed playing the deck. I had the incentive to put in the time to figure out how to beat Lexi, and I did. Like, I need to do more of that and be okay with saying I'm intentionally not playing the best deck, but I like what I'm doing now, and I'm having fun with it.
Yeah, like, sorry, what was your overall result in San Diego? We haven't really talked about.
San Diego result was a 3-3 dropped the calling, so I didn't play the last round.
Sure.
The showdown, I went 5-2, which got me 18th place. Top 16 made cash.
Yeah, so imagine you went and you played Briar, and you went 3-3.
Uh-huh.
I bet you would have crashed out a lot harder about the result of that calling than if you're 3-3 with Terra.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, especially if you're on your, like, 3-2, you're on your last life, and you draw a Runeblade hand and you lose the game. You'd be a lot more upset about that calling.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it's okay. You don't have to play everything you want and play the best deck. If it's something you enjoy playing, because it just depends on what relationship you want to take with the game as well. I had someone say this to me recently, as in, like, earlier this year. This was in relation to literally nothing that we're talking about, but she said to me, it'll be okay or it won't. Those are the only two options.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how I'm looking at everything now, you know? It's like, it'll be okay or it won't. Either it'll be okay and I don't have to worry about it, or it won't be okay and I'll figure it out after.
I like that.
Because, like, yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
But that's a really, like, it's a very simplistic way of looking at a lot of things. But it's a very clear way of sort of assessing what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Was it okay? Yes. Was it not okay? No. Can I change anything about that? Maybe. But, yeah, like, Flesh and Blood is a fun-ass game. Play the fun times. I see Flesh and Blood saying your gem luck was brutal.
Yes. My gem? Yeah. I mean, it was, right? In the calling, my first two matches were great gem luck. Like 100% matchups. It was Briar Oldhim. My third game, I think, was probably where a lot of the practice in Terra did pay off. Fi is not a good matchup for Terra, and statistically, I should not win that game. But I had put in enough reps with Aurora's help to recognize how I need to navigate that matchup, and took advantage of the fact that the Fi did have at least two bad hands through that game. Which is not me saying, like, oh, actually, I could skill diff this Fi, but more like I recognized how to take advantage of Fi stumbling. The next match was Tao Tao, who I want to say that knew was part of it. And definitely the turn I died was 1 go again 8 go again 8 because of how new works. But I also don't want to say, like, oh, but if Tao Tao was on a different hero, I would have won. Like, Tao Tao's an insane player. Following that, it was two great X decks. And one of them in particular was my testing partner, who I'm like, damn, sucks that you got more out of this testing than I did, because I was beating you in testing, which taught you how to beat me. So yes, I did have bad gem luck. And then the showdown was, the Terra that was more teched with Earth than I was, so I became Oldhim, which is a 0% into Terra. And then, the round 5 Enigma. I was like, well, this is just unwinnable.
Yeah. Like, I think one of the hard things to let go of, but one of the things we have to let go of in these situations is things like gem luck. we can't control that. We can only control what happens in game. And even then, sometimes you just die on your ass anyway because your deck says, fuck you, not today.
Yeah.
Like, Barcelona 2023 for Worlds, I brought Fi, which, historically was very successful at that event.
I've heard that.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good pick for the room, and it turned out it was. However, I got Fatigue Dash, Azalea, Reinar, another Azalea. Like, I just didn't get what I was looking for,
Yeah.
That's gem luck. That happens. I was upset. But, like, I shouldn't be upset at Gem being the cruel mistress that she is. I see Flesh and Bad saying they paired into Enigma in round 3
That
and
was,
just didn't.
Their opponent was calling top 4 competitor Jude Cornett, who...
Yeah, my friend and known community member Dagan White brought Fatigue Dash to LL for Worlds to bully the Runeblades. 0 6-power attacks in their deck, paired into a Draw My in Worlds, conceded, and went and got lunch.
Yeah.
You take those. But at the same time, like, I could be upset that I went like 6-3, made day 2 of the calling in London, and then bricked off in day 2. But at the same time, I played against good players. 2 of my KO opponents were in the top 8. Sammy Wex is an incredible player. I beat Anton from Team Sigil. I beat Ahmed Kashi, former UK national champion. I can't be upset at that performance. It's that feeling again of like, I am maybe not at the top level, but I am on a level that's like closer than it feels further away. Like, I remember playing side events at Worlds, and that was another of those experiences where I was like, oh, I just think about this game very differently to all these opponents that I'm playing in the side events. Holy crap. I sit down against a Verdance with RKO and be like, cool, we're going 54 minutes and you're going to end this game with no cards in your deck. It just...
It's hard to rectify that sometimes, but I understand too what you're saying. Like, I can look at San Diego and say, damn, Anthony Pham from Team AGE made day 2 with the calling with his Lexi deck. Like, damn, I wish I was as good as Anthony Pham. And then I look at who I beat and say, well, I also killed multiple of his teammates. Like, I have also torn through the remainder of a professional team of Flesh and Blood. So I get what you're saying. The record doesn't always line up with who it took to stop you.
Yeah. And like, it is a card game. Sometimes you do get luck sacked. You get skill gapped by your own deck. But I think the important thing to remember there is, even like when the bad shit happens, is to go, the worst thing you can do is say, I got varianced.
Yeah.
What could you have done? Is there anything you could have done?
Yeah. Still a card game in that regard.
You got to be honest with yourself. Because I've seen people do this. I saw someone once write in a Codex journal after losing a game, lost to Variance. I'm like, bro, what the hell? That's not what this is for.
It's funny you said that, and Nightbot popped up the Codex journal prompt.
That's what we call good advertising.
No, I think so. For me, I was, sat down for my tournament. Speaking of Codex journal, just very briefly, and like what I wrote in it, I was thinking, I'm going to do my Codex journal thing. I'll record all my, I generally just find this helpful, and then I get to take it on stream and read from my Codex journal. It's very hard to be a content creator when you're playing a deck where fatigue is plan A, because you just go to time. Like, you don't go to time, but of a 35-minute round, I'm using 33 minutes of it, which makes it then very hard to, like, write in the journal, run outside, record a recap. I think my first my first entry, because my round one was a Briar, I just wrote Briar free. And then the next time I had time to write in a journal was after the Tau Tau game, and I just wrote poo, because it was a new opponent. And that's like the only thing that I wrote in my journal all weekend. So to your point of don't use the journal for loss to variance, one, good advice. Two, when you do hit your 100% matchup, sometimes you can't just write killed them.
Yeah, like
Free.
Also, since you're well-known content creator Lupine Fiasco,
It's me.
when you fatigue your opponents, they get to go on and get the clout of bitching about what an asshole you are for fatiguing them.
Leave this guy about fucking Terra.
Thank God I've only been employed by LSS one time to do coverage, because I fatigued 6 Verdances at Worlds, and I bet you they were not happy with me.
I did play in a side event, sit down. My opponent was on Briar, and he says, "Oh, hey, you're Lupine, right?" And I say, "Yeah." He says, "Oh, cool, I know a friend of yours. His name is Del Taco. You might even know Del Taco. He's on Discord.
Yeah, no,
big fight player. Yeah.
I know.
He's like, "Oh, you know Taco?" I'm like, "Yeah, how is he doing?" "Oh, he's doing great. You know, family, kids, all that. He's getting back into the game. But anyway, yeah, I'm playing Briar. You're playing Phi, right?" And I'm like, "I'm playing Terra." And just the way the light left his eyes,
I'm playing a good deck.
the way his hope died in that instant. It's the Simpsons meme of you can see the moment his heart broke in two. Like, oh, I'm not going to win this game. I'm like, no, we're going to spend 20 minutes so that you can run out of cards and die.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. It was a great time.
I was taught very quickly how to win the fatigue matchup with Briar. Thankfully, again, my friend Dylan was prepping for the showdown, and he was playing about 20 games into Michael Yasher and Michael Fung, and just watching him pitch stack how the deck was supposed to win, which is like crazy when you think about what the game plan was. And it was literally to go to 0 cards in deck and use your bracers and send Rabble for 8 and stuff like that, you know?
Huh.
But yeah, turns out when you go Rabble for 8, Rabble for 5, 0 for 4, 0 for 4, also my sword, it's pretty good.
At some point, you're going to need to run this into me, because I've seen the Briars try to fatigue me. So you're not on Evergreen, is what you're saying.
I have played both versions. The Evergreen one, I would say, is definitely the more straightforward game plan. Is more easily disruptible if they happen to run something like Miller's Grindstone.
See, I've yet to be beaten by... no one's ever tried the, like, let me pitch stack my Rabbles with Bracer plan. I've yet to be fatigued by that. They have tried to fatigue me with Evergreen, and the pitch stacking involved... At least the games I played, which are not against world-class Briars, it's been that they will deal less damage in the moment because they, like, draw the blue and can't use it, or draw the Evergreen and need to pitch it. And so instead of, like, sending the Briar, 10-4, they send a Briar, like, 7-2 to pitch. And if they're not pressuring me and I get to keep cards, then it's like, okay, well, I was going to Titan's Fist you, but now I'm going to Footsteps you. And you're going to... If the Briar isn't forcing you to block, then you can hit her and you put her into fist range. And now she can't afford to keep cards. At least that's how my game has gone. My Briar games have gone. A lot of the time.
Absolutely. Makes total sense, because it's about finding that balance, I think. Because you need your opponent to be low enough that the Evergreens actually are a threat. Because otherwise, if you're at 10 and I go, here's 7, you can just go, no blocks, here's 10. Eat shit and die, I guess, loser.
That's what Aurora was telling me in testing. She had a Briar game where the Briar sent Evergreen 4 times over the course of the game, and Aurora won with like 10 life.
Yeah. So, like, but at the same time, are you really going to want to bring very heavy blocking Guardians when the type of decks that are performing in Sage are the ones that are performing?
I mean, I'm bringing Terra to my Pro Quest on Saturday. I don't know if I'm playing it because I'm also bringing Dorinthia. But if I look around the room and see a bunch of people all excited to play Briar, then I would probably register Terra. I think...
I would recommend it.
Like, I think... Oh, Aurora said it, you confirmed it. I think you're both right. Like, my gem luck was not the best. I think Terra was a really good pick for that event, just based on... Of the 170 players, 60 of them were Briar, and she had a 1/3 conversion rate, which is pretty good for being sort of the face of the format right now. Usually the most popular deck does not convert very well, and she did. I do think that Terra was still a good pick for that event, and I'd say if people are going to bring Briar or KO to an event, like, Terra is a good pick. You get a basically unlosable matchup into the most popular deck in the format. You're pretty good into every aggro deck. If DGA builds wrong, you can get them. And if they don't know how to pilot the matchup, then you get points. DGA, at least in my estimation, which is why I'm looking at bringing it, plays a lot of the same way that Terra does, where instead of like pitching your D-reacts for second cycle to counter what they're doing, you pitch your overpowers to second cycle to fork them whenever they have to start giving you cards. But your aggro matchups, your Briar matchup is worse because it isn't just free. Your DGA matchup is much better because you're playing a mirror, and if you know how to pitch stack it, then you're going to have a better second cycle than they will. And your like random ninja matchups are better than Terra's because your armor is better and all your cards block 3.
Also, Fi is kind of there to chew up the Guardians. That's what he's for.
Yeah. No, and that's why I feel like, okay, I did like variance out my Fi. I should not have won that game, or if I did, I should not have won it as easily as I did.
Yeah, like I spoke to a friend of mine, Shamir, brought Fi, and he said data on Fi really good into Guardian. Data on Fi into Briar is not looking good.
No, Fi is Fi. You bring Fi, you're inting.
Yeah, like I played into top 16 Fi, who was an excellent player, and like we had a really good game. But also, we were done at 28 minutes of our 35 minutes on the clock, and it ended when he popped a mask to prevent a Sigil of Suffering, and then 2 turns later was at 1, and all I needed to do was draw a shock.
Yeah.
You know? Because that matchup is a race, and Briar goes like, oh, you've attacked with 3-4 times? What if I attacked you with 7 and 7, or 10 and 4, or some innumerably large number?
The ninjas just feel... I mean, we're trending more now into like a discussion of Sage, which is fine. The ninjas feel like inting to me. Like, I know Florin Christian Logan brought the Fi pre-con and got 22nd in London, but he's also like national champion,
shut up.
top 8 worlds player. Oh, what's up, Noah? I'm glad I'm your favorite. I'm glad I'm your favorite at anything.
I'm also on that list of favorite clowns.
I played against 2 Iras I played one in a side event and one in the showdown. Both of them at one point in the game drew an all blue hand, and both of them at another point in the game pitched 3 reds to play a unmovable. And I'm like, this deck sucks. This deck is so bad. You can. This is the aggro variance, which is why I won't play an aggro deck. But for some reason, Ira gets it both ways. Where Briar, like, okay, you draw your Runeblade hand. Depending on what it is, maybe you can convert it. KO, you draw your, all blue hand. It blocks 12, And like Ira, you draw 4 reds and you want to kill yourself. Like it's so or you draw your 4 blues and you're like, this sick turn is 1, 2, 1. Pass. And you're like,
Yeah.
why would you do this?
Or you can be friend of the channel, Noah Clark, play Enigma, do really well, and then just brain fart in the top 8, Noah, since you're calling us clowns.
I had no idea that his name was Noah Clark. I really thought it was Noah Darkodius.
That's fine. He told me the first time he heard John Cooper, he was like, who the fuck is John Cooper?
I was, I have never, so I used to, at one point I emailed like OPG or OP at LSS.com, whatever it was, and said, hey, I want to change my name from John Cooper to Lupine Fiasco. And they responded and said, we don't let people do that anymore. I'm like, oh, I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense. And so then I would play in callings, and at least once in an event, I'd walk to my table and someone would look at me and then look at their phone and then look at me and say, I thought your name was I didn't know your name was John Cooper. And I said, well, yeah, I'm not going to use Lupine Fiasco. Who am I, Majin Bay? And like laugh every time. People love that joke. And then LSS emailed me and they said, hey, if you want to, we'll let you change your name to Lupine Fiasco on Gem. And I responded, no, thank you. Because in my head, I'm like, this show kills every time. There's no way I'm going to change it now. And then I got on stream and for the first time, and I thought, God damn it, I wish my name was Lupine Fiasco.
You know what? Tell me you grew up insecure. Holy crap. No, I don't want this branding. I want this joke to work out every time I make it.
There's a John Mulaney bit where he says that his now ex-wife, sadly, said that he is campaigning to be the mayor of nothing. And I thought, holy shit, that's what being a content creator is.
Sure. I need to get around to actually making stuff again, because it's been a while since I've been allowed to talk about Flesh and Blood.
You should. Making content's great.
Yeah. It is. I don't need to be good at the game, and people will still respect me for some reason.
That's me, baby. That's me. I'll spend a whole hour talking about how I sucked at my calling, and people are like, wow, Lupine, I really respect your stuff. And I'm like, thanks.
I mean,
it's your loss.
It's very good as well to see known players who have done well, who qualify for Pro Tours, come out and talk about, hey, I'm struggling with my place in the game right now because I'm not performing the way I want to.
Noah, who do you get respect from? Who? That's what I want to know.
I'm literally on a Discord where there are emotes that are just ban Darkodius. What are we talking about now?
No, you're absolutely right. Like, I was blown away the first time I made a video that was like, hey, I suck. And people were like, no, you don't suck. This is great. I really enjoy hearing about how you're going to improve. I'm looking forward to this. And I told my partner that. She's like, yeah, people love that shit. People like humility. People like when you're open. People like knowing, like you said, that even, people that they consider to be good players struggle sometimes. Absolutely.
Yeah,
no, I mean, this
just like,
and it's better than the alternative where I come on here and I'm like, yeah, I 3-3'd the calling, but hit my bad matchups. Variance got me. We're going to get him next time. Like, no one wants to hear that.
Yeah. And like, you can focus on improvement. That's like some of the best content that come out in the last while was Agroblaze doing his stream of all of his prep for Worlds. And I have to disagree with Darkodius. Watching you play Zen was amazing content. Just not for the reasons it was supposed to be good.
Watching me play Zen was a cautionary tale. It's like, do you want to know how to not play Zen? Watch me.
Yeah. And I tutor my deck. What will I find, and why will it always be the worst possible decision?
I think Tegan asked me in San Diego, like, why did you end up not playing Zen? And I had to go through again the like, I just can't think 3 steps ahead when I don't, like, with Aurora, you play the Channel Lightning Valley, you draw a card, you don't know what the card is, but you already knew what the rest of your turn was going to be. And so you either add another 4 to your output or you arsenal a thing. Playing Zen was like, I'm going to make a chi, I'm going to tutor a card, I'm going to play the Art of War, I'm going to banish the Tiger, I'm going to draw 2 cards. How many resources will I have? How will I use the resources? Do I need to use my Kakara? Do I need to use my Kasaya to make the resource, or am I actually better off not making the resource because that gives me an outlet for the chi? There were just so many, I could not conceive of like, I am tutoring what I'm going to play 3 Chainlinks from now without knowing the top 2 cards of my deck. It just was not possible for me. My brain doesn't work that way.
A train leaves Sacramento heading at 55 miles an hour.
I can't do that shit. I can't do it. I can sequence really well among the cards that I have, and now, having played some Terra, I can start to think about tracking my second cycle, and because the deck is so simple in its turn cycles, I can think about tracking your second cycle. But I cannot think 3 Chainlinks in advance if I don't know what the top 3 cards of my deck are. That shit just does not compute. But also to the point of feeling really good about my Terra play. God damn, the amount of times that I would track my opponent's Razor, like both Iras, I tracked their Razor Reflex to get back to the point where I drew like, oh, this is my 3rd blue Sirens of Safe Harbor, so I know you have the Razor, so I'm going to put 7 on your 4, and them just looking at my block and at their hand and then at me, and I'm like, do it, you won't. Felt really, I love that feeling really good.
Yeah, when you are like 5D'ing someone.
Yeah.
Just, it's a great feeling. But at the same time, my Razor Reflex story is personal favorite of, I played a single Razor Reflex in Briar at Irish Nationals, the first one that I made the finals of. Pitched it turn 1, and damn, did my opponents play around a possible second Razor Reflex every time I sent a snatch? Yes.
They got you. They got your number. I don't know that I've ever...
I didn't have a second one.
Yeah, I mean, if you could track their first one, you do it. But outside of that, it's like, do you die if you don't play around it, and do you win the next turn if you do? I have gotten a couple Briars in Sage with the like, here's my burn-ups, whatever, rabble for 4 with 1 card in hand, and I'm like, yeah, I'll block 7. And they're like, why would you block 7? I'm like, why wouldn't I? I lose this game one way, and it's by what you're, like, bluffing.
Yeah, like, I think the thing a lot of people need to remember with stuff like that is playing to win versus playing to not lose.
Oh, yeah.
That's a decision to play to win. But sometimes you end up playing to not lose, and that will cost you games.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you...
Because, like, there's a...
Oh, go ahead.
Sometimes you can't play around the lightning press.
Yeah.
And you gotta go, well, shit, if I play around it, I lose anyway.
Mm-hmm.
If they have it, I lose. If they don't have it and I play around it, I lose. I guess I just have to pretend it's not there.
Yeah. And sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it is, and like you're saying, well, you were going to lose either way, so this doesn't matter. Like, it feels bad that they had it, but you played to your out, you failed. Like, they were going to get you either way. And then sometimes they don't have it, and you win that game.
Absolutely.
That was... Yeah.
And, like, I think that's another element of recognizing... Like, you have to give yourself credit for being at least able to make calls like that. You know, this is where we come back to don't focus on the results, focus on the gameplay, the decision making, what you can control in the game, because you cannot control what your opponents do. You cannot control how they play. You can try and bait them into being morons and fucking it up, you know, and sometimes your only way to win is your opponent makes a mistake and shits the bed.
Yeah.
But like, you got to give yourself. One of the best pieces of advice I got when I was playing Magic was give your opponents the opportunity to make mistakes.
Sometimes that is your out, and like, we've all done it. Everyone who plays this game has a story of some colossal punt that lost them a game. Like, just some. My most recent one was playing Slippy at Calling Kansas City, having this insane line mapped out in my head of like I was playing against an Ira, and so I'm like respecting the snag. I'm like, play the double trouble, flick knives, take up the mantle from Arsenal. They're gonna block and snag me. Close the chain, play Codex of Frailty, pick up the CNC, send the CNC, like some insane line that I mapped out in my head that would have not won me the game, but I think at that point, like, I was in a very winning position, and I would have just put myself more so. And I go through this entire line, play the Codex of Frailty, realize there is still a card in my arsenal because I didn't play the Take Up the Mantle. I used my Black Tech Whisperers to turn on the Double Trouble to bait the snag. And I'm like, holy shit, I'm a moron. And then I lost that game. And like, everyone has their one pun. And that was my opponent's out that game, was my opponent's dumb. And sometimes they are.
Yeah. Like, not to, like, so the RTN I won with KO recently. My top 8 game was a KO mirror, and my opponent was ahead of me in the Swiss. So that was, I was already on the back foot.
Yeah.
We get to a point where I end up going to like 4. And my opponent's at 23.
Okay.
And I do a crack sash, just full send, hit everything. I think I present 22 damage and put them to 1.
Okay.
I get a card off them.
Uh-huh.
And they play Tear Limb from Limb and whip a Beast Within straight into the graveyard.
Yep.
Shit sucks.
Yep.
But and the thing is, if they had blocked with another thing, if they'd gone to 2, they were still dead. Because the first thing they banished with the Beast Within was a Blood Rush Bellow.
Uh-huh.
So, but like, that was my out, and that got me into top 4.
Yeah.
Top 4, my game win came down to a Scabskins roll.
That was your Gravy Bones, right?
That was my Gravy Bones matchup, was a Scabskins, and I got to send 8 at Chum and 8 at Face. Got there. I also had a cracked off one of the best Blood Rush Bellow turns the deck could have produced early in the game. And then in the finals, I flashbagged an Acilio on a 1 in 4 chance, and I hit the burn spell.
Sometimes you get them.
Sometimes you have to let your opponents make a mistake, and sometimes you have to play in such a way that your deck can bail you out and get you luck. Like, you don't just win on luck. You have to put yourself in a position to be lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to. We were just talking about playing to win, not playing to not lose, and then sometimes you have to play to your out. And I think that's where we come back to the advantage you get by playing decks that you enjoy, because you are more likely to put in the time and the energy into your like really bad matchups. Like, that was what I did with Phi back like long ago, back in the Lexi meta. It was a terrible matchup for Phi. It's got to be like 30% chance to win. Like, Lexi this was when Lexi was very good in Outsiders. She just did so much more damage than you did. But yeah. The one thing the deck couldn't do well was block. A lot of her cards blocked for 2. She had very little armor. I think she had exactly 3 points of armor between her entire suite, and those were all tied up in her Tunic, which she really needed, and her New Horizon, which she really, really needed. So the deck didn't block. And in playing Phi and just jamming a shit ton of games on Talishar, I learned that my 1 out Byros, good luck.
Good luck, Rose.
I learned that my one out was find a breaking point or a command and conquer, sit on it until the Lexi arsenals 2 cards, and then hit them with it. And I think I ended up between the calling and... Actually, no, it was just I played a shit ton of Lexis that calling. I think my record was like 7-2 or 5-2 or something into Lexis. Like, it was very strongly positive because I knew what the one out was, which is hit the arsenal. And so that's to your point of like knowing how to play the deck, knowing how to pile it into gravy. You play the scab skins and you know when you have to roll it. You have the fleshbag into Acilio is not exactly a skill check. You wait until they combo you and then you fleshbag them. But sometimes you don't. Sometimes you do use the fleshbag early based on how their turn is going. Like even in the bad matchups, just knowing what is my win con, how do I actually find the 30% to win? It's like, well, you either execute it and you feel great, or you don't execute it and you lost a game that you were going to lose.
Yeah, and you know yourself as well. Like, sometimes you put yourself in that position and it just doesn't pan out. Or like, with Fleshbag is a good example of, I've seen people lose games because they've held on to it too long to try and maximize value, when if they were 2 life higher, they might have won the game.
Yeah. The KO Mirror is a great one for that. Like, you always want to save the flashback for the Blood Rush turn, but sometimes they don't find the Blood Rush turn, and by the time you block with the flashbag, it blocks for 2. And you think, I could have used this early. I could have even got 5 value out of this because you didn't claw me. Like, even that would have been better. Sometimes you do need to recognize when you break with the game plan.
Like, I played a lot of KO into a lot of different things. Warrior, it's always good to snipe the go again or something. But like, I played 3 KO mirrors in the RTN season. And one time the flashbag bought me like 6 life, 5 life, because it was a claw plus the 2. And in one of the mirrors, it bought me 10 because I hit the swing big out of their hand.
Yeah.
But it is, like, you need to play and enjoy playing a deck enough to know when to flex your game plan. To go, okay, I need to deviate right now.
That was something that I got coaching from Yuki a couple years ago. I think I was prepping for Calling London, and I just wanted her take on what I was doing wrong and how I can improve. And it was something that she taught me 2 very important lessons. One was never go into your turn without knowing what you're going to do. Like, you should never, unless there are going to be things that you do on your turn that will force you to think. Your opponent is going to force you to discard a card, or you're going to draw a card. You're going to gain information in some way that you didn't have when you were making your initial decisions that will cause you to pause and think. But you should never get to your turn, look at your hand, and say, what am I doing with this? This should all be done on your opponent's turn before blocks. That was a great lesson. The second lesson that she taught me that was very good is you go into your matchup with your game plan. And you need, at some point, if the game isn't going well, if you aren't just steamrolling your opponent, there will be a pivot point where you look at your plan and say, is this the time to go off script? And the great examples are using your fleshbag against Acilio or in the mirror. Like, I save fleshbag for combo. I save fleshbag for Blood Rush. But if they're putting the pressure on early, or if you need to preserve a hand, then you can look at that and say, is this when I do something different? I think the specific context was Aurora Florian, where in that matchup, Aurora's plan is Arc Lightning, Flicker Wisp, combo kill them. And you're saving, like, the big one was you are saving your gold. You play Crown of Dominion, you save your gold for the combo turn so you can get more points. And the specific example Yuki gave me was, at this point in the game, you don't have the Flicker Wisp, but you do have the Arc Lightning. And if you break your gold here, you not only fix your bad hand, but you push even more damage. This is when you need to decide if it's worth like saving the Arc Lightning in Arsenal. You haven't seen a Plow Under yet. They're really coming up on Decompose. Your life is starting to get a little low. Like, this is where you decide, do you just wait and hope you find the Flicker Wisp, or do you just go? And that is a big part of knowing your deck. If you just buy, if you buy Noah Clark's Enigma deck because you think it's really good, because he top 4 to Calling, but you've never played Enigma before, I have no idea if Darkodius writes sideboard guides. Probably not. He doesn't seem like that helpful of a person. But let's pretend we live in a world where he does. If you read his sideboard guide for Briar and he's like, ABC, this is how you beat Briar, and you follow those plans to the letter, but you've never played the deck before, and the Briar does something unexpected, you're not going to know how to pivot. But if you bring your pet deck that you've been playing for months, you will know what to do when your opponent goes off script.
Yeah, it's the difference between the type of player who goes, God damn, I hate this deck, I'm never playing against it, blah, 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 and going like, okay, I actually want to win and get better, what do I do? To the point on like trying to figure out and adapt your game plan on the fly, it's also about knowing your role in a matchup. Mm-hmm. Like, is my role to implement my game plan, or is it to stop you from being able to implement yours? Is my game plan disrupting your game plan, basically? Mm-hmm. And yeah, everyone who's listening, please, for the love of God, plan out your turn on your opponent's turn before you block, because I don't want to get to your turn and just sit there. I have a very funny story about that from PQ round 2, playing into a Viserai. I'm on KO. I choose to go first so that the Viserai doesn't set up room chance. Mm-hmm. I go discard, agile, wind up, Arsenal, pass. My Viserai opponent, with no new information, sits in the tank for 5 minutes. And the judge walks over and goes, I'm going to need you to make a play.
Yeah.
To which they respond, but my hand is shit.
That I've been there.
Like, you still got to do something.
I don't know if I blame your opponent for that. I've definitely tanked on turn 1 with the like, why are my cards so bad?
Why did I put these cards in my deck? What the hell?
I drew in the Enigma game that I lost in the showdown. So when Aurora scooped to Jude day 1, that made sense. Jude is a known commodity. We all know that he's a good player. He tells Aurora that he's playing Enigma. Aurora's like, cool, you're a competent Enigma player. You are going to beat me. I don't want to, let's get 35 minutes back. I parented my opponent in the showdown. I have no idea who he is. He tells me he's playing Enigma. And to me, I'm like, for all I know, you're on some weird Phantasm build. You're, blue Prism. I've got a bunch of poppers. Like, I'll give you a few turns to show me that you know what you're doing. I draw my first 4 cards. They are 4 blocks, 4 yellow 4 blocks, and I'm on Sledge, so I can at least convert. But he went first. His turn 0 is Arsenal pass, and I'm like, sick. Pitch 4 Sledge, no Arsenal. Draw up into blue Sirens of Safe Harbor, 4 block. And he's like, here's some damage. I'm like, cool. I'm going to block Gain a Life. Sledge. Next 4 cards. 3 4 blocks and like a D-react. I'm like,
you're allowed to shuffle your deck before the game starts, right?
Why are my cards so bad? Why does my deck suck so much?
Yeah, I'm going to have to bounce now in a second, but I will say, it like on the topic of game planning, I played against a Enigma in round 1 of the Calling in London. I went first. I played a Malefic Incantation and went to pass. Uh-huh. Because I wanted to be like, go on, do it. Put something in play.
Yeah.
I'll kill it.
Yeah.
And so they didn't, and they ended up sending 15 damage at me on their turn.
Okay.
So I took 15, went to 5.
Yeah.
Because I looked at a hand and Arsenal that sent 25 back.
Mm-hmm.
And that took enough tempo that I ended up winning the whole game.
Yeah.
Because they were never able to keep more than 2 cards at a time for the rest of the game, because they went to like 8, and I proceeded to just block with 2 cards, send 2 cards,
Yeah.
block with 2 cards. A Rabble revealed a lightning press, so they knew I had it, and I went like, yeah, attack you for 7. You're at like 5, and they go block 6, go on, press it, put me to 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Arsenal,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Just get your full value.
Yeah, this lightning press isn't going to do that. It's going to kill you. And then they sent a phantasm thing, a block pop, sent another attack at them, and I was like, oh, by the way, I drew the second press.
Yeah.
Eat shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna have to go, and I will catch you later.
All right. Thanks for
Good
coming,
chatting to
Ian.
you.
This is a good
worries.
conversation. I was happy to have you here.
Yeah, talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Man, what a shitter that guy is, am I right? No, thank you to Ian for being here. That was a good conversation. Makes me feel better. I don't know that it necessarily solves any of my problems, but it does confirm that I did feel good about bringing Terra to the calling, even if I didn't perform all that well. The gem roulette did get me, but I feel like I did pilot the deck well. And if I was going to keep practicing Terra, then I would know that I really do need to refine DGA, which I think is doable. Like, I think it is a bad matchup, but I don't think it's so bad that you just sack it. I think Terra DGA is like, if you're gonna sack it, you just play a different deck, because you sacking it gives you points back for like Ninja, but your Ninja matchup is still not going to be good. Like, you're a Guardian, so your D-reacts are Staunch, Turn Timber, Steadfast, none of which do much against Fi. It is always hard not to be results-oriented. Like, it's hard to look at your testing and your practice and say, I thought this was really good, and then I 3-3'd, because like, that is not a good record. But it's hard to know. You can't see the alternate timelines. You can't see, well, maybe I would have gone like 1-5 without the testing. Or who knows how much the testing is going to pay off the next time I bring this deck and I don't hit the bad matchups. Or I do hit my DGA, but they're not as practiced. Or the build changed. Or I know how to, I put in the work to solve the matchup 80% of the way, which didn't get me there in the first calling, but then the last few reps that I put in got me the 20%, and now it clicks. Results-oriented is just, it's the easiest way to track, like, how did I do? Because it's a very objective way to say, well, I did this good. But it definitely doesn't tell the full story. And it's hard to, like, if you only go to a few callings a year, which I do, I would like to, my goal for 2026 is to hit 6 tier 3 plus. So 6 callings or 5 callings in nationals, something like that. I want to travel to 6 calling or higher level events. So you can get some good practice. You can get some, like, okay, well, I did this well, and I'm going to carry that testing with me into the next event. But that's like nothing compared to a Brody Spurlock or a Jacob Clements, who they top 8 this event, sure. But there have definitely been events I've been at where I look over and Brody's playing the side event, or Brody's playing the battle hardened, or I'm at my draft table in nationals and I look over and Brody is like several tables further down from where I was. Like, even the best players in the world are not winning every event. They're not topping every event. Sometimes they're not day 2ing every event. But they have so many more opportunities to put that testing into practice. If you've got a 70% win rate in testing, you might just hit the, like, well, yeah, my 70% win rate translated into 7-3, and then I didn't top 8. but it could also translate into I went 3-7 in this event and scrubbed the fuck out, but then I went 10-0 in this other event, or something like, you know what I'm getting at. I went 4-3 and scrubbed the fuck out, and then I went 7-0 or 10-0, and like your 70% is still represented, it's still maintained, but the wins were distributed differently, such that you did end up actually winning the thing. I remember playing Worlds and being at the bottom tables next to Pablo. Yeah, I mean, it happens to the best of us. It's just the best of us get more opportunities because they're traveling to more events. Most of the time. Not everyone, but definitely in some cases. So I guess what I'm trying to say at the end of all of this is I do think Terra was a good pick for the weekend. Clearly, I mean, Aurora got 14th. When I said I was the worst Terra, I mean, objectively, that is true. Like, just looking at results. 5 Terras registered for the calling. 3 of them made day 2. Of the 2 Terras who didn't make day 2 of the calling, we both played in the showdown. Sadly, we played each other. But the other Terra, Narbnods, got 9th place. Like, on the bubble, too. It was super sad, heartbreaking. But he got 9th place and I got 18th. So, objectively, I am the worst Terra of the weekend. But I do think that Terra was a good pick for the meta. And if my gem luck had fallen differently, if I'd gotten more Briars, or at least fewer DGAs, and definitely not Tau Tau, yeah, I could have day 2'd. I could have cashed. I could have top 8'd. I could have won if my breakers go the right way and if I get the right matchups at the right time. But I think Terra was a good pick. Got like 30 minutes left in the stream. I don't know if I'm going to stream for the full 30, but I can give you more of the weekend. Weekend was super fun. Like I said to Ian, I'm really glad I went, even if I didn't do as well as I would have liked. It was great seeing a lot of the NorCal people. I saw Aurora and Tegan again. I hardly ever see them. I think the last time was Vegas last year, and then the time before that was Portland in 24, so it was great to see the 2 of them. We got a few dinners together. That was fun. Playtesting with Aurora was great. Shooting the shit with Tegan in between rounds. It was great to see Rob, France, Austin, Brandon, a lot of the SoCal guys that I don't get to see. I mean, as much as I never enjoy losing to Tau Tau, it's always good to see Tau Tau. Got to see Majin. He casted my game. He made me sound really good. Got on stream for the first time ever and even won the game, which is always a plus. I drew my first ever game of Flesh and Blood. I want to apologize to my opponent if he somehow hears this. I also apologize for not remembering your name, but I was a little salty. It was a side event. I was playing Terra. He was playing Flavo. Definitely a newer player, based on how he was navigating the game. I had a deterministic win at the end of time. Life totals were, he was at 8, I was at 10. When time was called, I was the active player. He has 1 point of armor. I have 3 points of armor, I think. I also have more cards in deck than he does. Time is called. He says he wants to play it out. I roll my eyes. I say, okay, pitch 6, footsteps for 8 with a card in hand. And he says, yeah, I'm going to block 3, take 5, go to 3. I say, okay, Arsenal, my last card, which is Oasis Respite. It is, no. I have 3 cards in hand, staunch in Arsenal. I footsteps for 8. He goes to 5. Pitch to Bravo, played Debilitate for 10, Dominate from Arsenal, and I say staunch for 10. My hand is blue, Oasis Respite, and he says, okay, wow, I guess we draw. We each get 100 tickets. Damn, that game was really like anyone could have won that, and I'm, of course, am salty from having my first ever draw in a game in which I have a deterministic win. And someone next to me says something like, oh, what a fun way to end that game. And I say, yeah, fun. My opponent says, what do you mean? And I say, you're dead. If this game goes until we finish, you have lost this game. And he says, what do you mean? And I say, what do you mean? How many D-reacts do you have left to stop the dominate? And I'm like, no. You don't get to dominate me anymore. Here's the way this game plays out. You're at 3 and have very little armor. I pitch a blue, send Titan's Fist. You have to give me a card, and you go to 2. I Arsenal Oasis Respite. I'm going to draw 4 more cards. You are going to probably dominate this card that you have in your arsenal. I don't know if you still have a red left, but I'm pretty sure you don't. I'm pretty sure if I've been tracking your cards correctly and I'm counting in your graveyard correctly, you have no more reds in your deck. So this attack is now coming in for 8 with Dominate. Depending on my hand and what the card is, I can either block 3, take 5, go to 5, and then send another Footsteps, or send Disable, send some big 3-card hand that's going to take multiple cards from you. Or I can block 3, play Oasis Respite, keep 2 cards, Titan's Fist, Arsenal. Whichever way I do, you are giving me cards from hand and going further down on life, to the point where you have this Dominate, and you have maybe 1 more before you need to start giving me 2 cards every turn for Titan's Fist, and you never get to Dominate again. And he's like, oh, okay. And then we move on to the next hand. I'm like, hey, good luck in your next one, whatever. But it's my first draw ever, and I'm like, ugh. My first ever loss for a deterministic win, which, you know, the upside of playing Guardian is sometimes you just run into these. What else happened? My last game in the showdown was against a Dromai, and I totally forgot how to play the Dromai matchup for the first 4 turns of the game. I'm like blocking Ravenous Rabble with Macho Grande. I'm blocking other 4 power attack with a Popper. And then like 4 turns in, I'm like, oh shit. That's right, I'm gonna need these for later. We did win that game. That game I got to... I lost the Enigma matchup in the typical Guardian way, and then I got to win the Dromai matchup in the typical Guardian way of, I'm going to hammer all of your dragons and then have a Popper for everything that you do in second cycle. So that was fun. I played 2 of the Blanche events. Want to put this out there. The Blanches were Pringles. These are the worst curled cards that I've ever seen in Flesh and Blood. I don't know if this is like Laughing Dragon took them out of the plastic wrap or stored them out in the rain or what, but these were, you could have stood these up on their own for how curled they were. They are, my 2 Blanche promos are currently sitting in KMC Hearts in a penny sleeve facing away from each other so that they hopefully curl back to being straight. Like, holy shit. Another piece of feedback about the calling for Sage events, please start the calling late. Even 10 o'clock is fine, but 9 a.m. is way too early for an event that only goes like 5 hours. Like, I get that in a CC calling, you gotta move us out. You gotta push us out of the center. We're finishing up at 8 p.m. and people are gonna be hungry. But like a Sage calling, we finished 7 rounds of Sage at 2 p.m. I think the last game ended at like 1:30. Started at 10, started at 11. Give us time to sleep in. We're all gonna have a better time. That would be my feedback on the calling. I did have a good time, regardless of the outcome. Would have been nicer to do well, but still had a lot of fun. Play the game, see the world. I highly recommend going to these events if you can afford it. And then we got ProQuest this weekend. I told Ian I was being honest. I will be bringing Terra and Dorinthia, and just trying to get a sense of the room before I decide what I'm going to play. I've been jamming DGA games on Talishar, and the deck just does dumb things. Sometimes you get run over by Briar if she draws the nuts, but for the most part, you can just keep blocking, like set a Felling Swing, keep blocking 9, sending 4, until she either bricks or gets low enough that you get to start taking cards from her. DGA is a pretty busted weapon. I know what Ian is saying. We saw it in chat too, of like, if you start banning cards for DGA, you should just ban the weapon itself. Because the weapon is always going to do the thing, and if you take Felling Swing, DGA just plays whatever the next best card is. But if you lose DGA, suddenly Block Slap Guardian becomes way better, because the 4 blocks are really good. So if you ban DGA, you've got to ban the 4 blocks. Not that I'm opposed to banning the 4 blocks either. They should also probably go, but I'll be bringing both this weekend and kind of excited to play both. Like, DGA is definitely less interesting than Terra, but I see similar play patterns of being able to block really well and being able to pitch stack. Pitch your red overpower early, find it late, kill people. Put them into a position where they have to give you cards from hand, overpower, break your bolters, send DGA again, get the extra damage. So yeah, looking forward to it. I'm going to call it for today. I have a prior commitment in 20 minutes, and so I will start getting ready for that. But thank you all for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you again to Ian for coming on, talking to me for a while. Really good advice. He is a font of wisdom. I appreciate him sharing it with me. I will be back tomorrow at my regular time of 8 a.m. Pacific Standard. We will be playing Fi. Speaking of tuning decks that I feel passionate about, I will be repping Fi in preparation for ProQuest Week 3, the CC portion. I have ideas of how to make the deck better, and we're going to get down to testing it in the field of Talishar before I start doing work on my own to solidify the matches that I think we're going to see a lot of in PQ season. So catch me again tomorrow for some Fi play. Looking forward to it. Until then, have a great rest of your Thursday. And until the next time I see all of you, take care.